Whoa, what's going on?
Nice. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you. So most important industry news today is your insurance just went double because your daughter turned 16 today.
Oh man, we made
And
it.
therefore the stock market tanked. I'm kidding.
Oh,
Congratulations, you raised a 16-year-old.
That's right. Yep.
Other stuff. All right. So I actually am excited about today's call. We got great news. So here's what I'm seeing. And I've been saying this for a couple of weeks, and it looks to be like it's holding true. Is January and February looked like a normal January and February where the market just slowly started to go. And for whatever reason, Erika, the last week to 10 days, it took off.
It did.
And we're seeing that spring climb of inventory, which is good. If you look kind of here in Rockwall County, where into January, we had about 82 listings. We're at 83 right now, but we got pretty low with 52 mid-February, right?
Right.
And you can see we started the year with 52, and then we climbed and then went back down. So hopefully the listings keep coming, and we really want to see this blue line take off. If you look in Dallas County went from 514 to 596. That's a pretty big jump in active listings. Collin County went from 261 to 332, which we didn't even see that big of inventory in Collin County year to date. So that's a really big number for Collin County, which I think is indicative of just the market starting to take off, right?
Right.
Denton County, same kind of thing, up to 299, highest it's been all year. Kaufman County is at 112. I wouldn't say it's not the highest it's been, but it's climbing like the rest of them. Hunt County, 55. Down at the lake, we're looking at 62 active listings. So they're anticipating that warmer spring market coming. And overall, the other talking point is, man, there's a lot of houses that closed end of month, right? 37 in Henderson, 34 in Hunt. Kaufman had 101 closings. They hadn't seen anything close to that. It's a lot of movement going on in Kaufman. Denton County had 322. Collin County had 319. Outside of the last day of the year, that's the highest it's been closed. Dallas County, 613. That's more than they've had in a long time. And then, of course, Rockwall County, 58 closings, right?
Yeah.
So we're not, I mean, look at that number at the beginning of the year, 81. So obviously we have some room to grow, but the inventory is starting to come. Agents are starting to list houses. I feel good about things, but you tell me. What do you feel?
I feel good too. When I saw just reading it's funny when you read the articles and do the research, what they're projecting, and then we look at our numbers and it really is in line. So that's what's the message that's being sent is people are starting to put their homes on the market. They're sitting a little longer, so inventory is going up. So anyways, good to see.
We talked a little bit about Ukraine and stuff last week, but I think the world's just in a weird place a little bit. And what does that mean? It just like, okay, so this week, the CDC said we're no longer in a pandemic. We've dropped down to an endemic. So you would have thought 2 years ago, there would have been festivals and parties and backyard barbecues, and it's just kind of non-issue.
Right.
However, it just creates some weirdness. Where I want to go with that, though, is what does this U.S. Treasury note look like because this is our biggest predictor around interest rates, right? So you can see right here that Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24th. So the interest rates, let me get my thing off here so we can see. Interest rates were climbing. Dang it. Interest rates were climbing and the treasury notes were climbing. And then all of a sudden on February 24th, bang, it went back down. And then there was a little spike up and then now we're back down again. I actually think we're going to have a lot of volatility in interest rates and in this treasury note over the next couple of weeks, but it just goes to show there's an opportunity for those lower interest rates still out there right now.
Right. And I talked to a lender this weekend just to get a better understanding of what that number is that they look for to be an indicator of interest rate rising. So therefore they lock their people in, they really watch this. So I was told by, he's a president of Gateway Mortgage, so very highly intelligent. He said 1.9. So if we're watching this and we're keeping an eye on it, it just gives us more education for our clients. They're watching it if we're watching it. So he said it usually until it reaches that 1.9 mark, the interest rates aren't going to rise too much. So anyways, I thought that was good information to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So some other industry news. You sent me this article. I thought this was interesting. It said Dallas-Fort Worth home inventory still critically low as selling season approaches. I mean, it's kind of like I went to an auto dealership over the weekend. There's no cars on the lot. So how are they selling cars if there's no cars on the lot? Everybody's ordering, right? So I think the builders are when they say inventory critically low, that means there's no spec houses on the market. There's no, hey, here's 8 that are already in process for you to choose from. What did you get from this article?
Well, it is clickbait for one. When you start reading, it goes over the numbers. It goes over that it's nothing that we don't already know. However, it's not as gloom and doom as the title would suggest. So on average, it's talking about the sales prices up about 14 to 16%, depending on what area you're in, and inventory is about the same, that percentage low. So to me, it's nothing we don't already know. It's just not as gloom and doom if you actually read the article.
Perfect. Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's not gloom and doom. And
it's not.
Newspapers or digital newspapers know how to sell articles, right? But it certainly just goes to show that even builders are being affected by the inventory right now. We hope that builders would be our saving grace, but they can't move fast enough to save the inventory. And they can't build them fast enough. The supply chain won't allow it. So the reality is we need to go out there and list some houses.
Right. And it's a huge opportunity because that's a great conversation to have, because typically a lot of homes are dealing, their number one competitor is what? Typically new homes, because a lot of people are comparing. So anyway, it's just a more opportunity for pre-existing homes to get put on the market.
So this Trophy Signature Homes, a subsidiary of Plano-based Green Brick Builders, builds in many large communities, blah, 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 blah. This made me laugh when I saw this because Gary Keller at Family Reunion wore a shirt that said "Buy Dirt."
That's right.
And here's home builders stocking up on land. And I think that's a really important thing to pay attention to, because that just goes to show their optimism of the future is strong. And I would find that as a very comforting thing.
Same. And also it even said it said it in the article, it's sustainability. So they believe even if they double their land and home growth does grow, they are not worried about it because they still have the land to build on as the market, whatever the market decides to do.
Yep.
So, yep.
Tell me about this.
I just thought it was interesting. I go through Inman and sometimes their articles just make me laugh. However, I stopped on this one because it really is true. Communication is very important. In times of uncertainty, communication needs to be heightened. And these were just kind of things that you should not do. You can scroll down if you want. It's just a good reminder, I think, on how we handle situations. So self-centeredness was one. I think we need to listen. Passive aggressive. This is a big one. I cannot deal with passive aggressive people. Repetitiveness, guilty. Rudeness. I mean, it just kind of reminds us of the climate we're in and that we really need to be careful with our words and how we talk to people. Anyways, I just thought it was interesting.
Come on, don't skip cluelessness.
Oh, cluelessness. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you got to know what's going on.
I found this article in the Dallas Business Journal, and I don't like how their websites work, but it says home sale prices per square foot rise 22% in North Texas. So it made me think. So if I'm a buyer, and in the past I might have been able to buy a 2,500 square foot home for said price, and if home sale prices per square foot rise 22%, does that mean in order to stay in the same price range, I got to buy a 2,000 square foot house? And are we consolidating into smaller property, or am I having to figure out how to pay more for the property? I think you got two different conversations going on here, right? Like,
yeah,
your typical what your purchase power, if you could use that terminology, you're either spending more money or you're buying a smaller property.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you said.
It's exactly what we said, but I'm not sure everybody has connected the dots around that. Like, we may have to be talking people into smaller properties to keep them in affordability. Or instead of a 4-bedroom, they're buying a 3-bedroom, or instead of 4-bedroom with a game room, they're just buying a 4-bedroom with a traditional living room. And it just goes to show there's all the creative agents going to find out a way to get people into property. But it's just it's a talking point, right?
Yeah, I still think it is a skill set as well. It's really asking the right questions with your buyer of what's important to them and their non-negotiables, because the truth is some don't have more money to spend. So if they're buying a smaller property, getting really deep down into their motivation of what is a need and a want is going to be important in those conversations.
Yep. So anyway,
I also found it
interesting. There's really two conversations, because we tend to think, oh, you just got to buy a more expensive house, or you got to figure out, save your money and buy a more expensive house to get what you want. Or, hey, I may need to have a conversation with you about buying your affordable house, but it's just going to be not the same house you thought it was going to be 2 years ago. And then we'll move you up in 3 years.
Yeah. Because typically in the past, the larger the square foot got, it seemed to be that the square foot price per square foot would adjust a little bit. And that's not the case right now.
Yep.
So.
All right. Well, that's really the articles I had today, but I wanted to have a different conversation. So, Erika, number one thing agents are telling you about the market right now.
Well, I think it's what that we've been talking about. There's a lot of buyers, not enough houses.
Yeah, no inventory, right?
No inventory.
Yeah. Or that's one, or two, hey, I got people that would sell, but they have nowhere to go. So they're not going to sell because they have nowhere to go.
Right.
So I think there's three strategies here. One is, when's the last time you actually prospected for property for a buyer? Meaning, I got a buyer that would buy in this price range. They want this neighborhood. Am I too above going and door knocking that neighborhood? or circle prospect in that neighborhood saying, hey, I got a hot buyer that really wants to be in this neighborhood. Do you or any of your neighbors consider selling for top dollar?
Mhm.
By the way, that's a listing prospecting activity. You could get a listing even if that buyer doesn't buy. But I can tell you, it's that time of the year that hard work is going to win.
That's right.
And getting out there and going proactively after property, it would not be a very bad thing. And by the way, maybe I have a seller that says, hey, I want to live in that neighborhood. What if you sent them a weekly update of all the houses you door knock to try to find them a property to move into? I think that would be a really powerful concept, right? So door knocking and prospecting, you're not dead. They're actually very powerful right now. Second strategy is the golden letter.
Mhm.
If you're not sending golden letters weekly around your buyers of where they want to go, you're missing the boat. It is the simplest thing in the world to send out golden letters. You just need a system and a dialogue to it. You print them and you mail them. You print them and you mail them. And golden
Can
letters.
you tell us what a golden letter is for some of our agents that
Sure.
may not know what a golden letter is?
Yeah. So why don't you give it in your words and then I'll put it in mine.
A golden letter is you're sending it out to a neighborhood prospecting for listings, telling it's an equity conversation in the golden letter. And basically that's pretty much it, that you've got buyers that want to be in that neighborhood and it's a letter that goes out to the neighborhoods.
Sure. I'm going to pull up some samples here. Hold on.
Lisa Lipinski in our office does a great golden letter. I'm going to give her a shout out.
Yeah.
We had a class on it recently and she did a great job.
So here's a sample another office put together, and we can do the same. But basically a golden letter template. Dear owner, first name, would you be interested in selling your house at blank to a customer of mine? If so, please call or text me. Hey, I just sold your neighbor's home at blank. There were 3 offers and it sold for $5,000 above the asking price, which means 2 buyers weren't able to purchase this home. Would you be interested in selling your home to one of those buyers? I wrote an offer on your neighbor's home at blank. Unfortunately, my customer's offer was not accepted. In fact, there were 6 offers on the property. Would you be interested in selling your home to one of my customers? So you tried to buy a house, didn't win. Now you go mail the neighborhood.
Yeah. And I like the last one. So even if you do sell it.
Yep. There were 10 showings, which means there's 9 buyers still looking in your neighborhood. Would you be interested in selling your home to one of these buyers? Please call me. So it's nothing crazy. It's like literally 2 sentences, right? But the whole point is it's a prospecting activity. It's a proactive activity to go fix the comment that's going on in your head of there's no inventory, or I would have people that sell, but they have nowhere to go. Go do something about it.
Well, and it makes me think of just our inventory jump in the past week. 30 more houses went on the market. That was 30 opportunities. And if we get stuck in this mindset that there's nothing and do nothing about it, you got 0 piece of that pie.
Yeah. So here's the third strategy. I think one of the smart listing agents are putting together seller preferred term sheets saying this is what our seller would prefer. But here's a out of the box thought. You were going to sell your house, but you're nervous about where you'd go. What if I said, hey, Erika, what if you could pick your closing date? Would you consider selling?
Yeah.
Well, not until I found another house. What if we put that in there?
Yeah, you can.
Are there buyers that would wait 6 months to close?
I'm sure. Yeah.
I can tell you there are.
Yeah.
Investors would wait 6 months to close all day long.
That's right.
If I was buying a house and I didn't have to pay $50,000 cash over, but I was able to pay a fair price for it, I'd wait 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah. So you got to get out of the box and creative, but help people get through these things in their mind. So you got to get out, be proactive, go do something about it, and work through the limiting beliefs people are having in their mind.
Yeah, because if we have them too, along with our clients, that doesn't do anybody any good.
Nope.
So we've got to, I said this before, the thermostat, thermometer, we've got to be the thermostat in the room. So that means we're setting the temperature around us. So yes, think differently right now for sure.
Perfect.
And
Who do you
still
take
the
away?
well, I still think door knocking. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that gets suggested, and it's just like, and it is a basic of real estate. We're not getting away from the basics. We're just doing them in a different way and thinking about the basics differently to go out and win. So the basics are still apply. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's just different conversations while applying the basics.
There you go.
Yeah. It'll always work.
All right.
Put your socks on.
Same way as everybody else. Erika, happy Monday. There's your industry
Yeah.
update. We're out.
Awesome. Bye, Brett.
Bye.